Okay, so Grid Master is half over, we have 2 weeks left, and I am done with the game mode. I've completed the board as much as I would like to, so I think I've given it a pretty thorough playthrough. Now, this is Jagex's first attempt at a bingo-like event, and it was extremely enjoyable overall. Going into this, I was wondering what some of the tasks would be. I was wondering if any of them were going to be objectively annoying. I guess one of them was for some people because I actually like Sepulchre, so 92 agility wasn't really hard for me to get because I linked agility with thieving, and I already knew how to do Sepulchre from before, so that was fine for me, but that would probably be the one tile that stands out as something people are generally annoyed with. For awakened bosses, people usually think that's on me for not being able to do it, if you're not able to do it. But 92 agility, I've seen some complaints. Why is this in the game mode? Who wants to do agility in attempt game mode? Almost as bad as questing in attempt game mode. So overall, the board is pretty good. I gotta say, unlocking quests automatically in leagues versus unlocking them by completing tiles, I've gone back and forth about this a bit. It's really nice when you unlock the tile, and it's really nice when you unlock the new area in leagues. But the one vein of consistency through both opinions I have on this is it's just really nice to not have to do quests in a temporary game mode. Honestly, if I was in control, I would just... next Grid Master, if they do a next Grid Master, which I hope they do, I would say by the end of the grid, you should have every single quest in the game auto-unlocked. Maybe once you or your team gets enough drops from Tormented Demons, you call it Waterfall of Gothics, and every single quest is unlocked automatically. That would be pretty nice. If they're not going to unlock all of them automatically, the quests that I would say would be worth keeping not unlocked would be quests like Vampire Slayer, where it's just a bit of work and then a boss fight, or maybe the one south of the Farming Guild where you fight the Headless Beast that I can't remember the name of right now. That one would be fine. Just fight the thing and then get your reward. No talking and hitting one in space and all that. Just minimize that as much as possible. I'm sure if they made Wild Gothic Sleeps a quest that wasn't automatically unlocked, a lot of people would have just said, I'll just do other content in the game. Because it's the whole map, it's the whole game, you have time to do other stuff, and you could just ignore the demon weapons. Hit Yama with a scythe like I did, it's good enough. For the early game of Grid Master, it was a ton of fun, but I always get in leagues and Grid Master and everything else where there's boosted XP and different tiers, I always get this weird feeling that while I'm skilling, when I'm getting, 4 or 5 times XP, I could be doing something else and get 8 times XP and do this work anyway. I don't really think there's a way to fix that, but it is a weird feeling I get, and it's not really a fun feeling. It feels like you're playing the game mode wrong, which for some reason happens automatically in RuneScape in these temporary leagues for me, but not when I start a new account. I usually just do whatever I want and play about as efficiently as I feel like playing. I know in this league, I got the grid tile for cutting down the maple log, and then the next thing I did gave me 200% more XP for every single thing I did, so that felt kind of stupid, but I don't know how you can really fix that. It's just one of these weird things. You probably shouldn't play this game mode perfectly efficiently now that I think about it, because then you run out of things to do. For the mid-game, I was basically on a roll the entire mid-game. I would unlock a tile, get another one in my head, unlock that one, get a bunch of them planned in a row, and then unlock them, and then eventually I had like 5 tiles left and they were all red tiles in the corner. At the start of the game, you get comically easy tiles, like throw a gnome ball, so you just machine gun through them. But then in the mid-game, you're getting fewer and fewer tiles, and you're able to savor the reward, because you get to use it more. You don't really care about 200% more XP if you're going to get another 200% more XP and not really experience that benefit. So the early game is, I don't know if it's too fast, but it's definitely faster than the mid-game. Once the mid-game is done and you appear in the late game, as I did, there are only a few tiles that are really late game stuff, because getting 1 purple from Raids 1 isn't really a late game thing. You can just go in there with a 3-tick crystal bow or whatever, machine gun down Olm, You can solo easily with a Corrupted Shark, and with boosted drop rates, it's not really crazy to get a late game tile pretty easily. Like for example, in TOA, I did I think it was 700 raid, just the easiest 300 I could think of, and then I added the 200 and 200 invocations. And that was it for TOA. I just came in, got the, what was it, Missouri body I think, collected my free shadow, and then I was done. And I didn't really have to do any more raids content. It would have been cool if they had like even later game stuff. Like what if you had, I don't know, a tile for completing TOAs while doing multiple combat achievements at once. Like you could add some skill ones in a speed run, just bundle the tiles together and make it one tile to get 3 CAs in the same run. And you could make a bunch of those tiles. So you would get a lot more out of late game content, because really, once you've completed the board, the game feels kinda over. You could go back to raids and, I don't know, get full Missouri or whatever, so you have the highest possible DPS, but there's nothing that really requires the highest possible DPS. You could just go in with a 2-tick T-bow and a Corrupt Shark, and with those two things, I guess with arrows too, but with those things, you can do all the content in the game, even stuff like Next that you can't solo. You can solo it with some pretty basic gear for a game mode like this that just hands you a T-bow. It would have been cool if they gave access to, like, I don't know, if echo bosses, maybe like super echo bosses, create like 3 tiers for each boss. This might be a lot to do for a temporary game mode, but it might be good to explore new game mechanics to see which ones people like. You could do level 1, level 2, and level 3 echo necks or something. Have it so if 1 week of play you can do echo 1 necks, with a week and a half you can do 2, and then in groups you would be able to do the last necks. Have it like heal itself or something, so you can't just out DPS it with one person with a 2-tick T-bow. You need a ton of people who have basically completed the grid, because once you finish the grid, it feels like the game kind of just ends instantly. It really feels like it's over when you check your friends list and half of the people are back on their irons in the main game, and half of them are just a bit behind you. It feels like the game mode ended for everyone, at least most everyone that you know. It would be cool if there was something on the last day or the last 3 days, let's say, where bosses are just randomly spawning on certain like chaos worlds. And so, like, Armadale can spawn at the GE and everyone there has to fight it or whatever. I don't know, something cool, like a capstone on the event would be really interesting. I know usually everyone just gets all their expensive items out of the bank on the last day. They run around the GE and they drop it everywhere, and the GE looks like an absolute mess of red and yellow and all the highlighted colors and beams. That's fun, that's a tradition, but it would be cool if there was something crazy. Maybe on the last day, in the last hour, drop like, I don't know, Gothics walking around, have everyone fight him. It's a temporary game mode, so I don't think lore applies, so if you need a lore explanation, call it like Midnight Snack Gothics, I don't know. But it would be cool to have something insane happen around the end of the league. Now, I'm technically in this late game phase where I run out of things to do. Sadly, it looks like pets do not carry over, which sucks because I was invested in getting the lobster pet, you know, Doom of Macchiato or whatever. And then I looked up, do pets actually carry over? Which I probably should have done first, but anyway, they do not, apparently. From the Jagex mods themselves, they do not. So unless something radical changes, the pets won't carry over, which kind of sucks because Doom with a 2-tick T-bow was like extremely relaxing. You would just ignore stomp mechanics and heal off of the damage you did with the T-bow, and Doom would be completely free. Even like, I was getting like 20 waves, or I guess they're called delves, but I was getting a ton of levels and I was only leaving when I had to go do something, and I was going to be automatically logged out. So you can theoretically just keep going forever, or until the 6-hour timer is up at almost all bosses. I'm saying almost all thinking that there's an exception, but there really isn't. With the Corrupt Shark and Infinite Brew and Banker's Note and a stack of Karamb ones, you can just stay forever. I don't see any reason why you can't just sit at Nex and T-bow it for a week, or until you got the pet, because That would have been pretty interesting content. Pet hunting in the main game can be pretty depressing when you're 20k krills in and you don't have the pet. But in these game modes, you're basically a god amongst men just stomping on all these bosses that usually stomp on you if you mess up. Now there's been a lot of talk about prestiging in old school RuneScape. Like, what if there were 10 prestige levels where when you max, get all quests done, get all diaries done or whatever, once you have all that done, you can go probably to Max Island, talk to the guy or talk to a new guy, and reset the account, start again, but you have a little prestige by your name. Like how Hardcore Ironmen have the little helmet by their name, you have Prestige 1. That would be extremely time consuming. I would absolutely hate it and never use it, but some people would probably do it. Some people would go straight to 10 prestiges if they released all 10 at once. I would think the best way to release it is release 1 prestige, release 2 in 2 years, and then 2 years after that release 3, and then go up to like maybe 5. I don't know, there is a point where there's too much skilling in your life. That would be pretty cool to do in Grid Master. I don't know if you would have to max out to prestige, but if you complete the board, you could prestige and like make it harder on yourself, give yourself less XP. Instead of the boosts being 100% of what they were, they could be 90% of what they were, and you can try to complete the board again and again and again, because hardcore people, like on Reddit, I've been seeing people complete the entire board on a fresh account in under 8 hours. Those are speedrunners, but in a few days you can complete the board, and then the game mode is over for you. Prestiging your board, say 5 prestiges at the end, that could be worth doing. Something realistic you could do now, since Gridmaster is still going on as I'm doing this video. You can reset with a randomized run. I saw Foe doing that, and I think Bodhi was doing something similar, or maybe the same thing. That could be fun, but it looks like you have to actually complete some quests yourself, so yeah, that's not for me. But what you could do is do a hardcore run, or do a UIM run, something like that. Make it more interesting and make it more challenging. I don't know, that could be fun. I was leaning towards doing a hardcore run, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that. So yeah, to wrap this video up, this game mode was a lot of fun. It has a lot of potential. Jagex has probably learned a ton from this game mode, from all the feedback, from everyone who joined, and I hope they do another game mode like this, call it Grid Master 2. Hopefully you can set up teams beforehand so you and your friends can go collect 5 God Wars items for your group of 5. I don't know how they do it. Maybe entire clans would do it, like 100 people would have one grid to work towards. I don't know. There's a lot of potential here. There's a lot that can be expanded on, and they can move some of this stuff over from grid that people liked over to leagues and do leagues. What are we on, like 6 now? I don't know if that's right, but the next leagues, the next Grid Master, whatever is next, I'm ready to be excited for. So these are just my thoughts. Subscribe so I get a share of the YouTube ad revenue and it doesn't all go to Google. I recently hit 4K watch hours, so once I get 1,000 subs, I am monetized. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you want to know what you should do before Grid Master ends, click the video here.